Hello, everyone. Welcome to MEP Week 3. Today, we will be talking about communication and organization. So everything we'll be discussing is we'll be discussing the MEP timeline, the business team communication, personal organization via Sharepoint on your laptop, so local or online, Onenote, how we take meeting notes, and then the different capabilities of Microsoft Outlook. And last but not least, we'll be going through a Q&A. After we go through all of that, I will do step-by-step walkthroughs of each of these. So feel free to stay on if you want to be able to set up your laptop as needed, or feel free to skip over those if you feel those are not necessary. So like I said, we are on week 3 of the new membership education program, organization and communication. So the business team communication, very big overview. I would like to know, if you cannot make a meeting, please notify either the business team lead and or the appropriate lead, so either outreach, operations, or marketing lead, whichever one you report to, at least 24 hours in advance. And this is to ensure that you get all the communication necessary that you need and that we can touch base with you. So if you cannot make a meeting, what you should send is you should say, hey, I cannot make the meeting on Friday. Can we reschedule for Thursday? I am free from 2 to 4 p.m. and 7 to 8 p.m. And this way you guys can set up a quick 20-minute touch base just to go over anything that might be necessary. Now, you might not need to make a touch base meeting, but in general, you should always reach out in that respect. If emergencies come up, just notify the business team lead, regardless of whatever lead you report to, and you can get an exemption from any required responsibilities for any amount of time. So if you need a month because you have an emergency come up, too many things you are handling, then we will give you a month. When I say too many things you are handling, it is a family emergency has occurred, or some type of emergency in the respect that you need time to just focus on academics and whatever emergency that is, not because you decided to join another student organization and now you don't have time. That is not considered an emergency. Just to reiterate, communication is the utmost priority here. We are not trying to leave someone out in the dust where they have no clue what is happening because we've not communicated. It is extremely easy to send a quick text, a quick Teams message, whatever need be, so that someone knows what is happening in your life, why you can't make it, how to stay up to date on things, yada, yada, yada. We are not like other student organization teams. We are a project-based team, meaning we do stuff every time we meet. We meet to discuss and stay up to date, not just to showcase something or have a speaker talk or anything like that. So the business team communication, we communicate via Microsoft Teams. So if you look at Microsoft Teams right now, you can see that there are different channels located right here. And then you can see that there are posts, and posts have the announcement feed. So Matthew Fisher posted the mid-school year feedback survey. In general, this is for all team communication. Files, we will discuss more on files when we do team organization. And then there's the chat feature. The business team does have a group chat. If you have not been added to it yet, please make sure that your name is written down so you are added to it. If you are not on the business team, or not the business team, the OSU UWRT private group of Microsoft Teams, please make sure you are added. Last but not least, we use text messages when we need quick responses. The reason that is not the primary form of communication is so that we can have a clear cut between personal life and student organization life, because I know it can get complicated to go back and look at a historic piece of communication you have sent. You don't know what it's on. So in this respect, we try to use Microsoft Teams for primary form of communication. The next thing that I want to point out is we use the project tracker in Teams. So the project tracker in Teams is within the business team channel, the project tracker. The reason we like to use the project tracker is for the sheer benefit that it It is compatible with something called Microsoft To Do and Microsoft Tasks so that you can see what you need to get done in an academic way, in a personal way, and in a student organization way. This brings everything together if you use Project Tracker. Also, it gives up-to-date reflections to the business team lead, the outreach lead, the operations lead, the marketing lead, all of those types of individuals, what you've been working on, and if you've completed something. So again, you just have to go to business, and then you'll start out on posts, and then you'll go to Project Tracker, and then there it is. And then there are different ways to look at it. There's list, board, charts, and schedule. Whatever way you'd like to work at it works. Next is the business team organization. So we use folders via Teams and SharePoint. So as you can tell, if you go into files, you'll see a pinned file, which is a OneNote file, and that is the business team meeting notes, which I will discuss later on. And then you will see all of these folders. So we have folders based off of different roles on the team and regarding different, team organization, how we want to be organized, such and such. Please make sure you put everything into the appropriate folder. And if you need to share something with someone, please copy the link to that folder or to that document and send it to them. Now, if you want to look at this in a different way, you can click on this button and it's called Open in SharePoint. SharePoint is the equivalent to OneDrive, but for Microsoft Team groups. So anyone can put it in there. You don't have to share with someone and all of that. So looking at the Microsoft SharePoint Online being one of the ways to access SharePoint, if you click on Open in SharePoint, you will have to put in your OSU credentials, and then it will take you to a page like this, and you will see you're within Documents. Documents basically showcases everything you can see on Teams, but it is a lot easier to, what I would like to say, manipulate the organization of things. So you can select multiple files at once. In all of that, you can see images rather easily by doing edit in grid view. And all of that. Overall, I prefer SharePoint rather than going through Microsoft Teams, but Microsoft Teams is very handy if you're trying to send a link to a file really quickly. The other thing you'll notice is if you sign into your OneDrive, this is my OneDrive right here, you'll notice in quick access, there's this OSU UWRT. If you click on that, it takes you right to this page, being the SharePoint. So that is another quick way to access our files. And again, all files should be stored on here. If you create a file on your personal OneDrive, you should move it to the Microsoft Teams folder. Again, this is to ensure that everyone has access to any type of thing we make. Next is the Microsoft OneDrive / SharePoint on your local, so your laptop. So if you click on, if you have OneDrive downloaded, or if you have, yes, OneDrive downloaded, what will come up is there will be a pop-up where it will say sign into OneDrive. When you sign into OneDrive, what you're able to do is you're able to see this right here where my OneDrive is within my desktop. So I can click on my OneDrive and it will take me to all my files that I normally see online. If I click on The Ohio State University, it does the same thing. It has my Microsoft Teams accounts linked to it. So if you see right here, it has the business team channel linked to it. This is just a quick way to be able to access everything you need on your desktop, on your local. It's very similar to OneDrive, or not OneDrive, Google Drive. There are a bunch of YouTube videos on how to exactly set this up. I will not be going over this after this whole presentation just because mine is obviously set up already. So it would be hard to replicate that without deleting a bunch of what I've already set up. So if you need more information on that, just feel free to go ahead, watch a YouTube video and get this set up. I will say this is very important to be part of the underwater robotics team, but also for school related purposes. Next is Microsoft OneNote. So this is how we record meeting notes and outline projects and do brainstorming, all of that, just so we have one place for all the information we need. So in this current picture, what you're seeing is you are seeing OneNote desktop view. You can also access OneNote online and via Teams, all of that. But what you can see is right here, This is the name of the OneNote file. And then here are all of the tabs. So weekly meeting notes, that's where all of our notes are stored. Sub-team updates, that's where all sub-team updates are put. Member touch base notes, professional workshop, ad hocs. And then within each of those sections, there's a page. So for business team meeting notes, we have a page for every date we meet. And this is where we put all of the information we need. Again, this is what we use to take notes because it's accessible to everyone. We don't use our phone. We don't use a Word document because it's really easy to copy, paste, view everything at once, rather than, having a hard time getting to things quickly. What we're trying to do is make everything as efficiently as possible. So that's why we use OneNote. Next is Microsoft Outlook email. So to start off, this is how my email looks. And the reason I'm talking about email and how it looks is I'm trying to make sure that everyone can stay organized. So first and foremost, if you can see over here, my inbox is sorted into folders. And I create folders in order to stay organized. So if you can tell there's UWRT, I just put everything I need in there. And then I also want to really reiterate, there's this actions folder. Those are where all emails that require my immediate attention go to. I recommend doing this only so you can stay on top of things because an inbox can get really full really quickly. The other thing I want to note is you probably see in email on desktop or even online, there's two different versions. You can do all, or you can do focused and not focused. This one says all and unread. The way you can change it to all and unread is make sure this show focused inbox isn't clicked. And then next, how are my emails sorted? So my emails are sorted actually by date and in conversations. So this way, if I do a quick drop down, so if you see this arrow right here, if I drop it down, I can see all previous emails, and then all of these are sorted by date. Date being the latest email that has been sent via whatever party is sending it. Next, I'd like to be able to reiterate that I have my calendar shown and I have Microsoft Tasks shown. So in order to do this, all I did is I went to View, To Do, and I added Calendar and Tasks. And I did this specifically so I can have a quick look into, what's going on in my life. And I will go over how to get all of this put together and make everything a lot more easier after this presentation. Last but not least, when you go to Microsoft Tasks, which is really this bar right here, a quick shortcut, again, is just using Control-Shift-K, which brings me up to Microsoft Outlook Tasks. As you just heard, the shortcut to make a task is Control-Shift-K. If I click Control-Shift-K, what happens is it has this pop-up right here. And this pop-up, basically, I have to give a subject to it. I don't have to put a start date or an end due date, but if I want, I can. I can put the status. I can put a reminder. I can include attachments into it, put bullet points, really customize it. And the thing I really like is you can categorize it. Is it, in my case, actions, academic, back burner, whatever it is. And then I can select multiple categories. The reason I think this is really beneficial is you don't have to write everything in a planner. You can just write it right here. And the last thing that's really cool is you can assign the task if you really want to. But yeah, that's cool if you do Control-Shift-K or if you just create a new task. This is the task view. As you can see, I'm clicked on it. If you just click create new task, it brings you to this. But finally, if you would like to look at all your tasks, so this is right here, not what it actually shows up as. You have to customize it to that. I really like how this looks because it makes it really simple to see what the task is. Is there a due date? Mine actually is not due date, it's the start date, but you can customize that. It shows me the category, shows me if I have a reminder, shows me if it's flagged or not. So how I did that is I went into View, and then for show columns, I have the specific columns right here that those are basically the columns that will show up, or like what you'll see in here. But anyways, this is super beneficial to stay on top of things. I highly recommend using it. A lot of professional organizations, companies end up using this. Next is Microsoft Outlook calendars. So this is really nice. Microsoft makes it so email and calendar are one place. You can share your calendar. Very cool. You can do calendar invites, or I guess, yeah, calendar invites. So you can see other calendars, and then you can send meetings in here. So I obviously, if you go to view, have it in week view. So it does Sunday through Saturday, and you can see everything I have on here. You can also see how I have my tasks on the right-hand side. So in order to do that, I just click task, and right here I have tasks showing up again, just so I can see like what tasks are do I want to put on each day if I wanted to drag and drop. Next thing I wanted to show is you can share calendars. So if someone else uses Outlook and you just want to be able to, see their calendar really easily. So like for the business team lead, if they use the Outlook calendar, you can add any osu.edu calendar to a shared calendar, click on their calendar, and you can see when they're available to schedule a meeting, or when they're free in general to like reach out and ping them. But anyways, calendar is really important to, be able to stay on top of things and such. Next is, how do you create an Outlook calendar meeting? So when you create an Outlook calendar meeting, if I go back, you actually can't see it. You literally will just go into calendar and it will be like new meeting in the tab. So you click new meeting, but what I really want to reiterate here is there is a specific way you should go about creating a meeting. You shouldn't include an agenda. You need to include an agenda, just like every business team meeting has an agenda. You need to do that. So an agenda being discuss topic 1, maybe a question you have for it, discuss current project 1, determine action items. You need this so that there is something you can look back on why you're having that meeting. If you cannot come up with an agenda, you should not have a meeting. Next, it should include a location. So if it's the Ohio Union Aviation Room, please put that in there. It should also include a Microsoft Teams invite right here. The reason you always include a Teams invite, what if someone cannot make it in person? Then you need to include that. And then it should include all necessary attachments. So if I needed to attach something, I would press insert, attach, let's say a PDF file, and then it would show up. And the reason you attach stuff is, if you need to reference it in the meeting, you should probably have it attached to the meeting. And then next, if everyone that you know is scheduling uses Microsoft Outlook for their calendar, you can go to Scheduling Assistant and then see where they're free. So in this case, it looks like we're all free at 5 p.m. Today. If they do not use, if everyone does not use Microsoft Outlook, you will need to send out a when to meet, give a due date when people have to fill out that when to meet. So in that way, you can still schedule this calendar meeting. The last thing I wanted to discuss today is Microsoft To Do. So like I said before, Microsoft To Do, there is an online version, so through your PC, and then there's a mobile app that you can use, and it basically takes everything in Outlook and Tasks and then Teams and Planner and puts it all into this one place. And you can basically make it so My Day showcases all the things you have to get done. I'm not saying you have to use this, but it's very helpful to use if you want to be as organized as possible on a mobile version and be able to manipulate it if needed on a desktop version. But yeah, that's another thing you can use. And that is all I have for you today. If you have any questions, please reach out to your lead or reach out to the new membership education chair, or last but not least, reach out to the business team lead. And then this is additional resources if you need more on Outlook Calendar. But that is all I have for you today. So I hope everyone has a great day. If you're staying on longer, I'm just going to go through a step-by-step of what I showcased beforehand. Okay, awesome. So let's get into it. So let's just start here in OneDrive. If I click on OSU UWRT, it will take me to our OSU, all the documents in our Microsoft Teams group. So if you look in here, this shows all the files, but if I want to look specifically in business, I can see the business team meeting notes, I can see apparel, finances, all of that, and then some just, miscellaneous stuff. So if I wanted to specifically look at, let's say, professional development, There is a bunch of other, obviously, folders in it. If I wanted to create a new folder, if I wanted to create any more of these, I could also do that. I can upload anything, files, or even a folder. If I want to copy a link of a file, let's say in workshops, I want to copy this link. I just click on the 3 dots and I do copy link, copy it, and then I send it over to whoever. Now, as an FYI, they have to have access to OSU, UWRT, Microsoft Teams. If they don't, they can't access the file. Next up is how to navigate Microsoft Teams. So if you've noticed, there are various channels. If I go to posts and I want to do a new post, I click on it, and then if you see this is actually called format. If I click on format, I can just put like a template topic, and then I can @ someone. So @ business is what I normally like to do. And then blah, blah, blah. I can always insert anything from the Teams channel like that, or I can insert a file from my computer or OneDrive. I can add in all of these additional features. So that is one way to make a post. I'm going to discard that. Project Tracker basically showcases, if you need to add something that you need to do, you can put it on Project Tracker, and then it will show up also in Microsoft Planner. So if we look at, what's a good one to look at? Website updates. So as you can see, Matthew Ayers has put in all these website updates he plans on doing, and he's just going to check them off when he finishes. But it's cool if we just look up search bar. It has basically everything I showcased in Microsoft Tasks. It has it in here. So that is very cool. Now, if I go into my Microsoft Outlook, what I can do here is, I'm just going to exit out of that. I can go to view, and I can change on how I want my messages viewed. So let's see, if I want to do it by importance, it will do all of these that are important first, and then it will do it by a date right here. I always like to do it by date conversations. So if I have something that has multiple conversations, if I click on this arrow, it shows me the first thing, what was sent back, and then something from someone else. So yeah, the next thing I wanted to show you is if you need to add a new folder, you can right click and do new folder. I like to have an action. So this is all of my actions I need to do. UWRT, everything from UWRT. But yeah, that is how you do Microsoft Outlook like that. If I want to add these panels over here, I just do these. Like for example, if I wanted people, I tapped on people shows up. I don't want people, so I'm going to get rid of that. Then it shows me all my tasks. You can resize really, really easily. If I double tap on a conversation, obviously it pulls it up real quickly. There's a lot of things you can play around in here. Something important to do for conversations, always make sure this thing right here, if I click it off, it won't arrange my conversations. So I'm not going to click it off, but click that on if you don't have it on. Calendar. So looking at my calendar, shared calendars obviously have 2. So if I wanted to see Dr. Z's calendar, which is our advisor, gotta check that one first, then uncheck that one. What I will see with her calendar is, oh, she's showing me when she's busy, so I can schedule something with her. If I wanted to see my calendar, not hers, I would just click back on my calendars. It's gonna probably take a minute because I have a lot on my calendar. Oh, well, I crashed it. Oops. So if I open it back up again, make sure hers is unchecked. You can see on my calendar things. If I want it work week, it's going to do a Monday through Friday. If I want a month view, it's going to do a month. I always like to do week so I can see everything that's going on. This is how you make a new meeting. You can make a new appointment just with yourself. If I go to view, my to-do, I have tasks on. If I want, I don't want to do, if I want people will show up. Get rid of that. There are definitely a bunch of different other things to be able to do. This is daily task list. I can have it off. That's how I have mine on. But yeah, that's really cool about all that. Microsoft Tasks, I love Microsoft Tasks. It's super nice. How I have this whole thing set up is if I go into view, it's sorted by start date, not due date. You can change however you want it started. If you go into view settings, my columns I have showing are these columns right here. So I'll take like 5 seconds, 5-10 seconds for everyone to look at. And that's how you can see everything. Bunch of different ways to be able to manipulate things. I've only done columns, I believe. So yeah, and then if I click on something, so let's see, let's click on this one. So what you can see right here is there's all of these things I have attached. I have a PDF attached, the start and end date. I have it going on a recurrence, so it ends after this. It reoccurs every Monday. All of that, very cool. It's, ooh, I did not mean to do that. You can also see I have it under actions. I can also put it under back burner, take rid of it, get rid of it. I want to see all categories. That's how I can make a new one, rename one, all of that. But yeah, those are with tasks. I really like tasks. It's really helpful, all of that. And then let's go to making a new meeting. Oh yeah, so let's go back to that. So I create a new meeting. Mine, let's go UWRT, required Matthew Fisher. Make it a little bigger. Let's type agenda, always include an agenda. Hi. Blah, blah, blah. And then let's say I need to attach something. Let's say I need to attach a file. What's a good thing to attach? Let's say I'm going to attach closings, a CSV. If I reopen this, it obviously shows up. Yeah, that's one way to make a meeting. I don't think there's anything else that there's much to reiterate about on here, but those are a few different methods going about how to set everything up. Oh yeah, what I was going to show. So if I click on here, which is my OneDrive, it shows all my OneDrives. If I click on here, it shows that's something that is for a different class. Shows everything I need to know here, and it automatically saves to OneDrive. We're like SharePoint. So I have access to all of that. So very, very cool. Highly recommend setting up. If I go down here, you can see this right here is what you'll be accessing. Mine says unable to sync shortcut. That's just because something with one of my files isn't syncing. But yeah, that's basically all there is to it. If you need any more help, like feel free to reach out to business team lead, your lead, or anyone, new membership education chair, whatever works. That's all I have for you. I hope you enjoyed this.